Sorry for a bit of a late start. Hello, apparitions, Armigas, T, and Luca. Welcome back to Rose Guns Days. Last time, we got introduced to a couple of new characters and their complicated love lives as mafia hitmen. And it was like a freaking comical thing with him and his girlfriend. It's like everybody around him was mentioning that he was a hitman, and she was like, "Oh yes, I despise hitmen!" And like, hello Pro, welcome to the stream. And right after that, everyone was calling us like, "Oh look, it's the brawler." He's like, "Oh fuck." So anyway, without further ado, let's see what happens. What just happened? Oh, god damn it. I keep forgetting, yep, Rose Guns Days. Saving right before the last... Hello? Do you guys see the game, or? Hello? Can anyone see the game or hear me? Oh god, the internet just cut out. And I had to replace it. Because stupid fucking maintenance. Oh god, they started it early, those bastards. So I gotta put it on my cell phone. Fucking hell, this ain't... Oh, the chat might have fucking frozen. Oh god. Yeah, the chat froze. Oh god, I didn't see any of your messages. Okay. I'm so sorry. Alright, let's get back into the fucking game. I'm so sorry. The chat froze, so I couldn't see your messages. Hello, Mystery Theater! Oh, welcome to the stream. Sorry. Oh, God. Anyway, let's get back to the fucking story. 5 minutes wasted. There we go. Even a fight between drunks seems sort of charming. At first, the people were put off by the foreigners flowing into Tokyo. But they gradually grew used to it. Except for the times when they pressed in around the employment agency looking for high wages. Drunks and low-level laborers were quick to get along. Could it be the power of alcohol and body language? Makes you think that words aren't the most important part of international relations. Well, of course. Charming scenes like this only occurred in a certain part of the old downtown area. If you took the city as a whole, relationship with foreigners was strained as ever. Acclamation and resignation reduced the friction a bit, but their essential opposition remained unchanged. And on top of that, there was the Cold War between Primavera and the GDS after the soy sauce war. Even more important was the mistaken impression that Primavera had tried to make a bundle of soy sauce. Please tell me if the music is okay. Before, people have thought of Madame Rose and Primavera as the saviors of their Japanese countrymen. However, the city folk now thought of them as a simple mafia, whose shroud of fake benevolence had been torn away. Though the city folk had once sympathized with Madame Rose's noble ideals, ever since the soy sauce war, businessmen in the Japanese community began to distance themselves from the mafia called Primavera. If the Japanese wanted to protect their culture and goals, it was essential that they first establish a self-sufficient basis for their lifestyles. They urgently needed to rearrange the frail foundations of their distribution system, which Wang had been able to take over so easily. As been stated before, when a distribution system's scale grows larger and larger, those controlling it have a bigger and bigger advantage in making deals. I gotta say, I can see the transition between Umineko and Siconia in Ryukishi's writing style here, where he's taking a lot of time out to do narration on random topics, just straight up narration on random topics relating to the world, and less on the characters. What if I used a voice changer? That Then I would sound all like Darth Vader. If I used a voice changer. Madame Rose wanted to make the distribution network of the Japanese community in City 23 more firm by uniting it into one. However, in a complete reversal of their attitudes until a year before, the reactions of the businessmen were unenthusiastic. If the Japanese want to protect their lifestyles after becoming a minority, they must remain united. As merchants, you should know better than anyone else that both money and people become stronger when gathered together in a bunch. I understand what you're saying. I think it sounds reasonable. However, well... Please, everyone, we want to hear your frank and candid opinions. Our consigliere, Richard, has just stated what our ideals are. There is no way to protect the post-war Japanese community except unity. We did manage to stop the recent economic invasion made by Wang Yu and Hong, but we won't get another chance like that. And the war via soldiers has been concluded, but the war itself hasn't ended at all. Foreign businessmen will probably start by offering you deals on advantageous terms. However, once they've swallowed you all, their attitudes will change abruptly. Forgive my rudeness, but I believe some among you had already complied with these strategies of theirs. Yeah, exactly. Apparition is right. It's like, there's no way I could copy a voice exactly. That would be like a superhuman AI thing to do. I think you're overestimating the limits of what a voice changing program can do, Void Dweller. Or Lucas. Well, you did ask us for our candid opinions, so allow me to be frank. I thought your name was Johnny. Shut up. Please do. We have never forgotten the tyranny at the Caleb era, nor the debt we owe you for releasing us from that. Of course, we don't intend to forget that going forward either. Thank you very much. But of course, we have no intention of demanding anything in return for what we did. No. We understand your heart well, Madame Rose. We understand, but... we are merchants and... well, you Primavera are not. We're extremely grateful for your protection, and we're unwilling to pay you in exchange for it. However, that doesn't mean you can tell us what to do in our business. Is what more and more people are thinking. The City 23 Japanese Distribution Association that Rose was proposing would be a very large-scale project, exactly, to tell people what to do with their money. You need to be in some sort of hierarchy over them, like a large corporation or something. After all, they were trying to tie together all distribution in City 23 Japanese community. Conditions for deals grow more favorable when the scope of the deal is larger. If they could all join together, they could form a massive business partner that the American merchants and the occupying forces wouldn't be able to ignore, to say nothing of Chinatown. And by setting up a balance of purchases between America, China, and Japan, they could avoid becoming dependent on any single camp. If they could succeed in that, they'd be able to prevent a recurrence of the soy sauce war. However, bundling everyone together would require an unprecedented revolution. Bundling distribution together would be the same as bundling all merchants together. In the past, several mafias had existed in City 23's underworld. How much blood had it taken to bundle those together into one Primavera? This new plan would be on par with doing the same thing again. The mild merchants, who disliked shedding blood with other people, showed their understanding for Rose's ideals. However, there was also a considerable supply of ambitious merchants, looking for a chance to get rich quick in these chaotic times. These merchants thought in exactly the same way as mafias. They want to make more money than anyone else. They want to break away from the pack. They had no desire to go under someone else's umbrella if there was no profit in it for them. The establishment of a distribution association would work almost exactly opposite of their desires.
Of course, we support your idea, Madam Rose. There's a lot of people out there who say differently, but you're still the person that got a Japanese countryman.
Thank you very much. We'll never do anything to betray your expectations.
However, the young ones aren't satisfied. Those of us who were doing business since before the war prized local connections above all else. That's why we can understand your position, but... Oh, you mean ambitious people who started after war? People looking to get rich quick, have no interest in a community of mutual cooperation between countrymen. That's pretty much it. One of those young people have been taking the lead on this matter. He's going around telling people that Primavera is trying to swindle us out about money. He's gathering votes for an opposing faction.
If he's spreading around a misunderstood version of our true intentions, that certainly is troublesome.
President? What was the man's name? His name, what was it again? Pretty sure it was David Tagawa. A freaking generic mook just like us. Heard something about him starting up business with the diamond he planted from the battlefield. He's one shitty bastard. So he's starting up a faction opposed to the association?
Yes, I remember Davis. It's a joke to call him a young merchant.
He's entirely a person from our realm.
A tough customer, certainly.
Oh, you know him?
A while ago, he opened up a gambling spot and started raking it in. He just happened to bump up against my turf.
What happened? Well, I did offer to make him my right-hand man. Oh, through various means. From what we've investigated, he's not the sort of man to wag his tail for anyone.
Davis just sounds weird as a first name to me. It just really seems like it belongs as a last name. I mean, you should just name someone David if you're gonna go if you like that sound. Davis just seems like it should be a last name for me. That's just my opinion on it. Oh, that was Wayne. God damn it, Wayne wasn't even here. Wayne, you're talking and you haven't even shown your fucking sprite.
From what we've investigated, he's not the sort of man to wag his tail for anyone. Precisely. So what do you think he did next? No clue.
Oh my God, Alfred!
He went off and sold off all his gambling houses. Sold them to Alfred Akagi, yep, he's still in the story. That's crazy! So he sold Crazy Alfred everything, including the fight. Alfred is gonna be a boss again, jeez Louise. Thanks to that, it quickly turned into a war between Alfred and me. Deja vu, baby!
I remember that Mystery Theater. And it was weird then. His real name was Daisuke.
We managed to strike a deal in the end. One of the places whose interior decorating I'd chosen myself was blown to bits with dynamite first. No respect. After all, that crazy guy used to be the biggest destructive force in the city. Now it's just Team Rocket. Nothing to be gained by dealing with someone like that. Davis specialized in making the biggest mess of things he could, then taking the money and running. I'll bet that this time too, he's planning to fire up an anti-association faction to make trouble, and grab all the good stuff for himself. Davis, huh? That bastard. Making a mess of Rosan's wake. The states are the leading members of the capitalism camp. There's no problem we can't resolve with money.
So it won't come cheap after all.
No helping it. I guess you could almost say it can't be helped. At least they're willing to let bygones be bygones. I remember how they came crying to me when Primavera started dealing only with Japanese merchants.
America, China, and Japan. Unless City 23 could maintain balanced dealings between these three camps, it wouldn't be able to maintain its autonomy. However, there was a lot of bad feeling between American merchants and Primavera. Once in the past, Rose had made all clubs in the Primavera Alliance switch to dealing with Japanese businessmen in order to support her countrymen way back in the beginning. In other words, all of a sudden, many foreign businessmen found that their deals with Primavera had been ended. That had dealt a heavy blow to American merchants who had made particularly large deals with Primavera. When Primavera only represented clubs and ladies of the evening, they had a reason to reject foreign merchants to support their countrymen first policy. But now, when they had the grand goal of stabilizing distribution across City 23, their past was coming back to bite them. Though they were able to wipe the slate clean with Butler as an intermediary, those merchants were demanding compensation for their losses and guarantees for the future.
It's hard to hold this a fair price, but we do have some understanding of their position. We acted unjustly in a business sense. There's no helping it.
Yeah, I can just picture that in another translation. All these "there's no helping it" are gonna be "it can't be helped." Ooh, my trigger finger's gone itchy for the friggin' "it can't be helped" button. Diggity dang, damn it. Yeah, unjustly.
At the time, it was more important for us to support our countrymen. A new situation calls for a different response. That's all there is to it.
I'm just gonna say, interject again. I can really see it now. Ryukishi kind of switching gears from his Umineko style character focused writing to the more Sakonia like society. I hate that word is just a meme now, but I mean in a literal sense, like style writing. And I don't know. It's you know me. You know which style I prefer. I'm just saying this is, the direction Ryukishi wants to go, and it's his writing, it's his books. Let him do it, seriously. But I'm just saying, I am really noticing that the characters are talking, and we know from Higurashi, Ryukishi has a propensity to just like really drag out when characters exposit on things. Like it's almost like a Star Wars Episode 1 type of deal where they're talking a lot about the trade deals and stuff that's gonna set the stage for the plot. But when that becomes too much of a focus, like they're saying much ado about this, but it's really to set the stage for the characters. Now, you guys probably noticed in the last arc where it was the wandering dogs, there was this whole thing about the soy sauce wars. Like, really, I didn't care as much about that. What I cared and I loved was the interactions of the wandering dogs and the whole deal with Zell and everything, and her father, and like the group bonds and just their friendship and their stories and her past. And it's just, and Rose and Leo and everybody was great in the first arc too. Like, when I love it when Ryukishi does his character writing and basically looking through Rose Gun's days, I can see that what I truly cherished about Umineko and Ryukishi's writing in general is his character writing. When he focuses on the characters and like what they're feeling and why they do what they're doing, not like in a worldly sense, but in an emotional sense. That's awesome. Fucking incredible. I love it. Love, 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 love. And that was basically all of Umineko, with the technical part of the plot of Umineko is just the mysteries. And that was okay because the characters were exploring their characterization through solving the mysteries. And that was like, it was combined. The with the characterization, the technical aspect of the plot. And like, we didn't focus too much on in Umineko, we didn't focus too much on like what was Kinzo's business, like what exactly did he do and Kraus do. We didn't focus too much on that. We just knew enough to know that he was in trouble and what kind of trouble he was in, like with the whole freaking moon tourism meme and everything. And if you haven't seen Sakonia, like this mystery there, Sakonia is not like this in that they're debating about business, but it's more about world affairs. And there's a lot of breaks in the character's storyline that is the most interesting thing, in my opinion, to say a lot of news reports in Sakonia about what's going on with the world, rather than being shown the characters reacting to it. And I can just see that with Rose Gun State, which is in Ryukishi's writing timeline, smack dab in the middle. Exactly, Gundam without the mechs. Exactly. Right. Because, yeah, to me, my favorite thing of Gundam is Gundam Unicorn. I felt, seriously, what a fucking incredible series Gundam Unicorn was. That balanced the politics and the characters and the robots of Gundam so fucking well. If you're gonna watch one Gundam series, and it sucks, like, because I just realized while saying that I can't even recommend it in that sense, because, like, to get the most out of Gundam Unicorn requires you to have a fairly decent knowledge of past UC Gundam. So that kind of sucks that I can't even recommend it as your first Gundam series. What I can recommend on its own is 08th MS Team, which is probably my second favorite Gundam anything. Fucking fantastic. Loved it. Love, 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 love. And again, for also beginning to while listing these, beginning to realize my own biases and what I love in writing is character interaction. Like that's what 08th MS Team is. And Gundam Unicorn has a lot of that too. The when the characters are dealing with political things, unless it's directly intertwined with their characters and like their emotional like reasons for doing things, like because of who they are, like or it has to do directly with their character flaws, like in Umineko, like Kraus is bad at business, and because he's trying to emulate Kinzo, and like a lot of the story is him and Natsuhi in episode 5 especially, is him and Natsuhi dealing with the consequences of that, and really puts their characters to the test. But like in like Zirconia and here, it's kind of happening tangentially to the Gundam the Origin. That's a great place to start. Mystery Theater, definitely, if you're going to start with Gundam. Yeah. And I lost my train of thought. Essentially, okay, the difference in the writing style is the politics and the economics, I should say, because it's not really politics, it's economics, business talk, is happening. I guess I can call it politics because that's what it boils down to in the end, is happening tangentially to the character's development, not in parallel. It seems like something that we have to get through to get to the character motivations and development. And I think that's the biggest difference in Ryukishi's writing style, how it's changed. And maybe it's just separate in Umineko, because no, actually, it's an evolution, because from Higurashi, there were times when the story just flat out stopped, especially in episode 8, to delve deep into stuff that in the end didn't need to be so thoroughly explained. And that's probably one of the Ryukishi's weaknesses, is that he spends a lot of time on stuff that's really doesn't need to be spent so much time on to get a good understanding of where we need to be to really empathize with the characters and their motivations. Yeah. The thing is, the scenes between the parents and their discussions in Umineko, it was very different because it was used to introduce their personalities to us. And like, again, and it was used to further their characters. It was never like, do you actually know what Krause's business was about? No, we don't. We don't know what exactly he was doing. Maybe some kind of real estate or something like that, or like investment. Like, it's very vague because it didn't actually matter. And this right here, what they're doing is basically, what if, instead of really going into how Krause and Natsuhi reacted to his business decisions, we're doing, what if Krause and Natsuhi and Krause and Hideyoshi like really talked about the nitty-gritty details of their businesses. And it's different. And it almost feels like, far be it for me to analyze like this, but that Ryukishi is kind of missing the point in doing this. that we're we're not coming to this to see, you know, a discussion of the politics of businesses in this alternate history Japan. We're coming to I want to see how Rose reacts to these changes. What and Rose and Richard, like, and everybody at Primavera, like, how is this affecting their characters? And that was done really well in the first part with Leo and everything. But like, you know, Rose confiding in Leo and everything with her worries and everything, and being unsure of herself. But now I feel like on her side of the story is stagnated again. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, Guppy Force. Please tell me, because I'm probably wrong, because hell, let's face it, I'm usually wrong. But I'd really like to know more of where you're coming from. Absolutely, the aim of the story is different, and that is true as well. It just it doesn't align with my preferences in storytelling to know more about. I'm just saying what I want to know about is how is Rose feeling right now, and what actions is she going to take because of that, in character wise, not like what business decision, or in case it does affect. If you enjoy it, I'm very glad you do, Mystery Theater. I'm really happy that you do. I'm not disliking it, but at the same time, I'm feeling like, okay, I really want to know how Rose and everybody is feeling like this about this now. And, you know, different people with different life experiences, as I have said before, are going to have different reactions to the same stories. Which I think is absolutely fascinating. Anyway, I have spent way too long on this tangent. Let's get back into it.
A new situation calls for a different response. That's all there is to it. No need to worry about it. It's normal for friends and enemies to swap position.
Oh, that's fine, Guppy Force. You got your own life. Seriously, that's totally okay. But thank you. I do appreciate it.
Happens all the time. It's common in the world of adults. There's no need to get so down, Rez-chan. Oh, she's just a bit tired. That was a short while ago. She was in a meeting with some merchants.
I'm sorry, Captain. I've been feeling a bit feverish for a while.
Hey, you okay? I've been pretty busy getting that association ready, right? She's working too hard. Get a little rest. The captain and I will finish the rest. That's right. Leave the rest to us and get a little rest.
I'm sorry. I'll call it a night then, if you don't mind. Rose nodded to them with a full smile. Her face was a little pale, and you could see that she wasn't in perfect health. Hilarious, Star Vegas. Hilarious. Who do you think I am, Edgeworth? Jeez. I really hope Rose lives. I really hope that she and Leo just run away and their descendant is Julie. That's what I'm hoping for out of the story.
You sure she's not overworking herself? She has a bad habit of involving herself in every matter, simply because she represents our group. She doesn't know how to cut corners. She is dead earnest after all. Even so, I do try hard to shut out anything she doesn't need to hear. After all, she feels a strong sense of responsibility.
It's a joke, Luca.
She would get herself involved. If Rose-chan goes down, Primavera's finished, right? I think you better work a bit harder to shield her. Of course. She sets out the policies and we focus on practical business. There's more to supporting her than simply standing by her side and offering advice. In the future, I plan to step forward more proactively.
Exactly, Mystery Theater. That's what I'm hoping for.
Taking the lead in Primavera's management. You've changed too. When I first met you, I figured you were the type who raised objections whenever Rose John proposed something, slowing her down. That sort of support isn't suitable for Rose now. Rose is our king. Now our queen, I should say. What country would let their king fight personally, or have him till the fields? I guess so. Rose's ideals won't become reality if she guides the people and the people simply obey her. It'll only come true if the people understand those ideals and move of their own accord. As the person in charge of supporting the madam, I must take the lead and take action. I merely realized that obvious fact.
Butler agreed with Richard's view. Rose's ideals were a noble thing, which would show the path for her countrymen. However, ideals exist to show the way. And there was no need for her to stand at the brunt against the oncoming winds. Rose would point, and their resilient countrymen could have passed through the fierce waves. Rose's heart was too beautiful to be worn down by those waves. Rose couldn't be allowed to fall yet. Even so, she remained standing at the head. However, before long, it may no longer be necessary for her to stand at the head. It would be okay for Rose to entrust her ideals to her reliable allies and rest. That's why the organization called Primavera existed. As Richard eloquently said this, he resumed his meeting with Butler with even more passion. Stella, you're still alive. Awesome. Captain, sorry to bother you while you're working, but could I borrow my brother for a bit?
I don't mind. I was just thinking of asking for a soft drink. Give me a Coke.
With actual cocaine in it, of course, as is per the time. Someone make the captain something non-alcoholic.
What is it? Is it urgent?
With a bright business smile, Stella led Richard into a blind spot in the corner. Then, after checking that no one was watching them, she spoke with a tense expression. Rose fainted. Oh, God. I think they're leading to Rose retiring. Yeah.
What?
Calm down. No one knows yet. Wayne and I are going to take her to the hospital soon.
What's her condition? Is she okay? Is it fatigue? Some sort of illness?
Calm down. It's probably fatigue. I think she's just too tired. You and the others have been working Rose too hard lately. You haven't forgotten she's a girl, have you?
I have no words. It's my responsibility for not taking notice of her physical condition.
Ever since all that trouble with soy sauce, Rose has been working every day without breaks. What on earth are you making her do? You and the others keep bringing these thorny matters to her, wearing her out. Please show at least a little concern for her health. Those days of exhausting work might have been too much for Rose's delicate body. Ever since establishing the Primavera family, she hadn't stood still for even a moment. But it was probably more than that. It There was such an extreme change in atmosphere between this year and the previous one. At some point, the sacredness of Madame Rose, the woman praised for guiding her countrymen, had been lost. Primavera wasn't a savior for its countrymen, just a greedy mafia. Once that view became common, it was only natural that the winds would start blowing in the opposite direction. No matter what sort of ideals Rose tried to proclaim, they'd be greeted with suspicion, and people would assume she was doing it for selfish reasons. Rose had been exposed to too much slander and trying to solve each and every mistaken assumption. Ladies of the evening learn how to pick up on subtle clues to read what people are thinking. That must have driven the blade of slander deeper. Even now, Rose was suffering in the middle of a nightmare. She was being tormented by the great responsibility of leading her countrymen and their overly cold criticism. We think what she's saying sounds reasonable, but... Aloha, welcome to the stream. Don't get involved. We're poor. We aren't super rich like you. I don't know who's talking. Guess this means Madame Rose has been exposed for what she really is, huh? She acted like a saint, but her mind was full of plans to make money. After all, the rumors say... I hear you've been lining your pockets by the amount you drop wages. Well, lucky you. We really need Leo back to comfort Rose. Yeah, I think that I agree, Mr. Theater. That's just like the thoughts, the rumors whirling about Rose. Yeah. Stella, are you awake? Do you remember? You suddenly fainted.
Rose-san, please rest. The doctor will be here soon.
Sorry for fainting all of a sudden. I must have worried you. You were tossing and turning a lot. Poor thing. I see. Dreams are pretty strange, aren't they? You forget them as soon as you wake up. However, Stella knew what Rose had been dreaming. Even as she had tossed and turned, she had been frantically trying to convince the people inside her nightmare. Oh, I get it. So that was Rose whispering in her, talking in her sleep. That's what those messages were. Hey, Rose. What is it? Recently, I finally figured something out. This ideal society you're aiming for. You aren't heading towards it by the most direct route, are you? It's in my intention to take the most direct route. I'm sorry. I said that in a confusing way. That's not what I mean. As part of taking the most direct route to your ideal society, maybe you've been trying to make something else happen first. At first, even I thought that if you became a leader and guided everyone, we'd all be able to reach the promised land together. But if that happened, then in the future, when you're gone, everyone would take the wrong path and become lost again. Yep, this is talking about Rose naming a successor. Are we gonna get to see Jean, but young? In the end, society is about ties between people. In school, all you need to do is listen to what your teacher says. But society doesn't work that way. Unless everyone walks forward together, no ideal can become reality. I think even I misunderstood that at first. I mistakenly thought that if I stood alone at the head to guide them, everything would work out. We've learned a lot over these past few years. The fact that we've ended up here shows what foolish and weak creatures we Japanese are. We're always irresponsible, trying to blend in with the crowd. Anyone who stands out gets knocked down. That's a famous Japanese saying. And yet, we're always waiting for a savior to come. Kind of ironic. It reminds me of your theory that the Japanese only managed to survive until the 20th century because we've been protected by the sea. We are very weak. And that's why. That's why you thought we Japanese had to grow, to become people suitable for an ideal society, before we could even start building one. Yeah. By now, I think in this bizarre Tokyo, filled with a mix of Americans and Chinese, might be a good medicine for the Japanese. Of course, it's a powerful drug. Most of the Japanese will probably be kicked out of this Tokyo. But someday there may be some Japanese people who gain the resilience needed to stand on the same level as the foreigners. When that happens, I believe they'll be able to build a society of their countrymen, founded on a spirit of mutual cooperation. And that's the future you see, isn't it? I wonder when that'll happen. Oh, exactly, Mystery Theater. It's obvious that the story that Jean took power by force is just a story, just a fake story. So, since Rose was unpopular, they introduced Jean as the one who dethroned Rose, and thus she has instant popularity. I don't know, but I haven't lost hope as much as you think. In the time since we Japanese were exposed to civilization less than a century ago, they've grown so much. I'm sure that once another 100 years have passed, they'll be much more resilient. So, you're talking about 2049 by the Western calendar? That's incredibly far in the future. I wonder if humanity will be living in outer space cities by then. Oh, Stella. Better dial back your expectations. But can we frail Japanese survive until that dizzyingly distant future? That's what Primavera is for. I'm nothing more than a single gear in history. It's completely impossible for me to simulate 100 years of Japanese evolution. However, we want to protect that century-long incubation period. We need to build a shell. A shell. Oh, that was Stella, sorry. A shell. A durable shell that'll protect the weak chicks for a century. And also various forms of power to protect the rights of self-government that must be passed on to our countrymen 100 years in the future.
Influence, wealth, force.
Doesn't that basically describe Primavera? That's right. We need to pass on the 3 types of power that can protect the growth of our countrymen for 100 years and build an ideal society for them in the future. They totally did, Mystery Theater. That optimistic view of the future was still, it still was there, right even on through the 90s. It's just that the advent of the 21st century came, and people really dialed back their expectations. I wonder if we'll ever see a decade like the 90s again. Within my lifetime, even. Who knows? That's Primavera's, Madam's Rose's role. Yep, Hala Miragia Gundam was smart and put a new era, absolutely. Welcome to the stream, by the way, Hala Mirage.
We've reached the hospital. We've spoken with them, so please enter through the back.
Just to be doubly sure, a careful examination was made. The result was, as expected, overwork. The doctor recommended a break for the near future, but there were no openings in Madame Rose's schedule. The negotiations and meetings with big American, Chinese, and Japanese merchants who held power in City 23 couldn't wait. The doctor understood the circumstances, but still made a point of being firm with his warnings. If you don't rethink how you handle your work, this will happen again and again. Oh, hello, Jess! Welcome to the stream. Oh, really? We're getting close to the end of Chapter 3? Do you think I'll be able to finish Part 3 in the stream now? I mean, not now. Today. And each time you fall down, your lifespan will shrink. When Wayne heard this, he turned pale and urged her to rest. Oh, no? Okay. Thanks, Guppy Force. Because I was worried, like, not worried, wondering, but, Rose was too stubborn to be coaxed into agreeing. I can handle this just fine. Estelle listened to Rose saying this over and over. She hung her head and didn't move. To Stella Mayogi, Primavera was supposed to be no more or less than a place that guaranteed good pay to ladies of the evening. When did that change? When did she start supporting mutual cooperation between countrymen, focusing on something as extravagant as the future of their people? In this park, which was slightly larger than even the other ones in the Japanese colony, a large group of Japanese children were playing. In their midst, her sister's son, Yuji, was playing in a sandbox. Yuji Eugene Mayogi. That child who had once been the baby Richard carried around in his back was now a 2-year-old. Oh God. Not only could he crawl, but he was walking around as he pleased, and could even speak in short sentences. Hello, James! Welcome to the stream. Maybe he was developing a sense of self as he'd entered his first rebellious stage, insisting that he do everything himself and fiercely resisting any help. I had a moment today where my son, for the first time, well, not first time, but recently, he got frustrated. He was frustrated at a platforming game he was playing. And it was just the weirdest feeling of nostalgia. Like, I just, it's just so weird. Oh, jeez. Let's keep going. Earlier, Stella had joined Yuji as he played in the sandbox, but she couldn't keep up with the 2-year-old's endless stamina. Oh god, yep. She'd slipped away while he was engrossed in playing by himself. Now that is something you would never, ever in a trillion years do in freaking other countries. Like, fucking hell. Leave a 2-year-old to play by themselves. That is just... I couldn't even imagine a situation in a public place. Hello, Sloom. Welcome to the stream. She wanted to rest on a bench a short ways away, where she could watch over Yuji. A single young man had sat at the end of that bench. Normally, she wouldn't have wanted to sit on a bench with a man, even if he was sitting at the end. She was tired, and she couldn't find a convenient bench anywhere else. Mind if I sit here? Oh, it's Keith. Park benches are public property. No need to ask my permission or anything. Huh? Could you be Stella Mayogi? Pardon me. Have we met somewhere before? Yeah, I'm with Primavera. Member battalion. Oh, one of Maurice's crew. Still, I wonder where it is we met. I'm sorry if I don't remember. Nah, don't worry about it. We're low-level soldiers after all. Not the sort of people that 7 heroes need to remember. Hey, enough of that 7 heroes business. It's embarrassing. The other day, Stella had sent a request to Cyrus for some bodyguards to quell some trouble brewing in her faction's club. Since that was right in the middle of battalion's territory, their boss, Maurice, introduced a set of bodyguards to her, with Alan the Brawler at the head. Apparently Keith had been part of that group. I guess they didn't want to do a sprite for Stella with casual clothes. I guess they didn't want to. Thanks for your help back there. The girls were delighted when you came dashing in so quickly. It's my job. I got paid for it after all. Oh, what are you doing here? Here to meet up with my partner. So, you drop by to play with your kid or something? My bad. Shouldn't speak so casually in one of the 7 heroes. That doesn't really matter. I'm not the sort of person you need to speak formally to. Still, it's surprising. Didn't expect you to have a kid. I mean, you with your body is like, holy shit. He's the child of my dead sister. Oh, sorry. Brother and I are raising him. I haven't even gotten married, much less given birth, and I keep hearing Mama, Mama. It's enough to give you a headache. More like heartache. The music is quite lovely, apparition. Stella was being talkative, possibly because she was worn out after playing with Yuji for so long. Keith's try on imposing style of speech might even have been relaxing for her. Do you like kids?
I do. They're cute, aren't they?
So I guess you'd never had to raise one.
Do I look like I've ever raised a kid? I look like I'm freaking 16. And then, do you hate kids?
Sure do. Ouch. They're noisy and tiring too. If he weren't my sister's son, I'd have kicked him out. Stella spoke flippantly, but there was a trace of softness in her voice.
Childcare must be tough. When you're just gazing at them like this, children really are nice. They're so direct. They have futures. They have all sorts of possibilities.
Aren't you being a bit idealistic?
And anyway, if I started hating children, I'd end up hating all humans. Become like some sort of anime supervillain.
You hate adults.
Yep, hate those guys. I hate adults. Hate the Japanese.
Ouch.
And I hate the army and superior officers. I hate everybody.
What? And did you get picked on by some demonic lieutenant?
That didn't matter. Nothing that minor would matter.
By the way, aren't you hot?
Huh? This.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You look like you're all geared up for winter.
And you look like you're geared up for a night on the town. You don't see me talking about it.
Oh, but it's burning in this weather.
I was in Siberia. It's one of those mental scar things.
Even in the middle of
summer. Whenever I feel a breeze at my neck, it's like my whole body feels frozen.
Siberia. You were in a prison camp there. Poor thing. I hear it's incredibly cold there.
You heard right. It gets about -30°C there during the winter, I guess.
Jeez.
It's harsh, but you get used to it.
I imagine that just means the people who didn't adapt never came back.
Well, I have plenty of Russian people living their lives in that cold. You make do. That's not what's really harsh, though.
So the Russian guards were rough, after all.
It's normal for the enemy to be rough. It's normal for the cold to be rough. There is nothing too painful about normal stuff. Oh, it's really painful. It's not the enemy, but your allies. The Japanese were harsher.
Ouch. Life in a freezing prison camp had strained their hearts to the brink. Very little to eat. Heavy labor with an intensive schedule. And the inescapable cold. Moreover, that burden wasn't distributed evenly across the prisoners. Even after surrendering and having their rank insignia stripped, their hierarchical relationships remained when they became prisoners. Underlings were treated like underlings the whole time. Senior officers kept throwing their weight around after being captured and were unfair all the time. They yelled at the young ones, telling them to take the initiative during the heavy labor. Even when it came to their scarce food, the officers were given more. Malnutrition, cold that could freeze the blood, accidents during heavy labor, swindling the underlings without a second thought. Some of the officers even tried to suck up to the Russian troops, selling out their comrades for better treatment. Jeez. As the countless unbearable betrayals piled up, the young ones fell to their deaths on the frozen ground one by one. Help each other in times of trouble, my ass. Hardship is valuable to the young. Bullshit. Back then, I figured it out. There is no future for a country where the old swindle the young. Too fucking real. Jeez. That's why I hate Japan. I hate Japanese adults. I wanted them all to die. I wonder if those kids playing over there will turn into adults like that someday. They will, if nothing changes. That's why I think Madame Ruse's society of cooperation between countrymen might work. She isn't just some girl with big dreams. She sticks to that ideal, even after seeing how weak and filthy the Japanese are. You're right. She understands the weakness of the Japanese better than anyone. That's why I'm in Primavera. With Primavera, I'm sure those kids won't turn into the kinds of adults I hate. A future for our countrymen, huh? At that moment, they heard someone calling out. It was Alan. Stella realized that the person Keith was waiting for had arrived. I thought you hated adults. Bye, Luca. Have a good time. And Na's the only one who didn't betray me. That's why I'm alive. That's why I'm here. Whoa, beautiful! Hey, what's going on here? Here we go. When'd you ever get to know a beauty like this? He doesn't know Stella either. I've met her too. Did you forget? Huh? Where? Think I forget the face of a beauty like this?
This is the greatest failure of Alan Armaki's life! See you later, then. Let us know you need a job done. We'll be waiting.
I'll work hard to make sure nothing happens that forces us to call you.
Well, that won't do. I want to earn a whole bunch and make it big.
In the sandbox, Yuji started crying, "Mama, Mama." Even though he had been so engrossed with playing in the sand, he suddenly felt very lonely. As soon as he turned around and saw Stella wasn't there, uh-oh. The future of a 2-year-old like him was still a blank slate. Would he emulate dirty adults and turn into one himself? Or would he earn resilience and a spirit of cooperation, clearing a path for the future of his countrymen? These kids were truly like an empty canvas, containing possibilities for both outcomes. Stella and Keith, they must have shone like jewels. I've decided, Rose. Yuji. Yuji, unsatisfied by the time it was taking Stella to reach him, started sobbing out loud. Stella crouched down and held his shoulders. Yuji. From now on, I'll live for you and your future. Well, that was a really sweet scene with Stella. Alright, hold on 1 second, you guys. I just got to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna make another half cup of coffee. You guys can just chill for a few minutes. So you should get a coffee too if you want. This seems like a nice, relaxing chapter, perfect to have coffee with. Hold on, you guys. Almost back. Okay, you guys. Yep, we are back. Thank you so much again. I know it sounds like the end of the stream, but it's not. Thank you so much again for joining me on this Rose Guns Days. An incredibly fascinating look into more of Ryukishi's portfolio.
Sorry to keep you waiting, boss. We're always hungry. Sorry about this, suddenly calling you out during a meal again. Or anything you like. Manager, get the best sandwiches you get. I like mine without bacon.
Same. I really don't like bacon unless it's bacon bits. I just don't like bacon. And that includes both Canadian, American style bacon and Canadian bacon. Which is Canadian bacon is the same as British, Australian bacon. They call American bacon streaky bacon here in Australia, which makes sense.
And extra veggies.
Oh, is he a vegetarian?
You can take his bacon and stick it in mine.
Oh, he even laughed.
Let me introduce you, Wayne. These are our problem erasers, Helen and Keith.
So I'm guessing that these two are going to be hired to go after this Davis guy.
Are they skilled? Hey, you're just gonna ask that right in front of us. Well, we're pretty good if I do say so myself, Mr. Wayne. Huh. I like to joke around, but their talent's the real deal. Cyrus also wants them on the job. So, someone causing you trouble? I love trouble. Of course. That'll come with a bonus. Right? If you succeed, the Grand Boss said he'd be generous. Understood. I'll handle information gathering. You can deal with carrying it out. Our Oliver will investigate.
Oliver! Woo! Yes!
He's a man you can trust.
Yes! Woo! Ah, yes, he's back!
A pleasure to meet you.
Please don't die.
So, are you skilled? Come on, don't say that. Your target is Davis to go. He's the source of the headaches ailing our madam.
Yep. Exactly.
Thanks to this, her makeup's in a fix and has got her in quite a bad mood, if you get what I mean. He's gathering up these people who don't like the distribution network, plan to make a fuss. So, just need to clean this guy up, huh?
Exactly, Jess. I was like, it's so hard for me not, I can't not give a Battler-esque voice to Alan, because he's looks exactly like him. Fucking hell. Like, exactly. Like, seriously, it's Butler and Alan are both Battler XPs. It's not fair, Ryukishi. You can't have two in the fucking story. Like, look, he even has the fucking, like, this bootleg Ushiromiya crest right here on his jacket. That's not fair. Seriously? Come on.
Everyone out here aware to get us specifically. Guess he's a pretty troublesome foe, yeah? He seems to be fully aware that he's wanted dead. He's as slippery as a rat. Can't pin down his location. On top of that, he's got insanely good instincts. He could easily spot an ambush. Sounds like he's evaded attacks multiple times in the past.
Is it an animal sense of smell, or just incredibly good luck? For a villain like Davis to last this long, he needs some uncommon ability. Well, Charles was much younger. I tried to give Charles the young battler voice. Cyrus has decided that the true problem erasers will be needed to erase Davis this time.
Interesting. Let's put this villain to the test. Can't wait to see if his instincts can spot a scope poking out of a curtain 500 meters away. We know he's hiding somewhere in City 23. Finding people like him is our specialty. The stink of a villain can never be fully hidden. There's no doubt we'll find it. I stake it on the name of the Wandering Dogs, which are currently taking a hiatus. So, it'll be a race to see who can find him first. We aren't the only ones with a keen nose. He's a rat, so leave it to us rats to find him. So each group will fill a different role. Let us know when you rats find the target. I'll be drinking tea or something until then. Whatever. Drink as much as you like, but make sure you're available to be contacted at any moment.
I mean, it's not like they have cell phones or even beepers.
Whoa! Wait, son, this is gonna be a feast. Go easy on the alcohol, will you? Can't have you sniping drunk. So I'll be pointless if you're a useless drunk when the time comes. He sure thinks he's all that in a bag of chips. Even though he's younger than us.
Well, I mean, he looks older than you two easily. I agree, James. It's nice having Oliver show up here.
Don't say that. He's pretty talented himself. He had a whole story arc. I hear he's one of the 3 stormed at the Belton Plaza Hotel. Hey, we fought against a Soviet mobilized sniper division for 3 months. Just the 2 of us, remember? We had to cuddle up in bed. Yeah, that was weird. That was awesome. I mean, weird. Don't get ticked off. I know full well how amazing you are. I wish people understood that awesomeness a bit more. We want respect. We want to become more famous and set ourselves ahead of the pack. Maybe they can compensate for that lack of respect with more cash.
When Alan patted Keith's shoulder comically, his sulkiness disappeared. Both Alan and Keith craved the limelight, wanted to be properly appreciated for their skills. But it wasn't so simple as them wanting to show off. They wanted to get a name for themselves. Those pitiful young men weren't even given graves. But simply fell down on the frozen soil and got buried by snow. Of course, they were given no tombstones. If they disappeared from the memories of their war comrades, and even which corpse belonged to whom would be forgotten. These 2, who couldn't even remember whose skulls had stared up at them from beneath the melted snow. Want to earn a name for themselves before they died.
Okay, okay. You'll get your money. And I'll figure out something from the respect side, too. After all, the consigliere always wants to reward hard workers like you.
Sweet. That's our boss. Knows just what'll make us happy.
Plenty of prizes, success of all sizes. Getting all fired up as the excitement rises. Dippity dice, boppity buzzes, bobbo boom, badabity dice. Huh? Fuck's that supposed to be?
What the hell? That's so hot. I mean, weird. Maurice seemed annoyed, but Alan's meaningless puns were always right in Keith's strikes. He's gotta be doing this on purpose. Right in Keith's strike zone, apparently. Like, seriously. Hi! Hello there, Alan. Were you surprised when the Chinese man suddenly answered the phone? Oh. Suddenly answered the phone? Sorry, that was my Chinese assistant. I always tell him not to answer my phone, but he keeps forgetting. He is not the greatest assistant who ever lived. I got it. Sure shocked me. Guess that company you're trying to set up is pretty multinational. Hadn't I always told you? China, America, Japan. You won't be able to do business in Tokyo anymore if you aren't acquainted with all three. Anyway, what is it? Are you inviting me to dinner? Sorry, though. I got plans tonight. You know, that dinner meeting with the woman boss of Primavera. Really? I thought she broke up with him because she found out he was an assassin. Isn't that what happened at the end of the last stream? With Madame Rose? Pretty incredible. You're worried, aren't you? You're thinking the Mafia might do something to me. No, I'm not worried about that at all. I'm worried about her mentioning me. Lots of people started picking on her recently. But she's an incredible person who always cares for his Japanese. All the people around her are pretty shady, but I hear she's a saint herself. Is that so? And here I thought you were worried about me. Because I shouldn't have kept my expectations up. That's not it! I'm always concerned for your safety, Yuki-chan. Thank you. So then, the next time we'll have space for dinner should be, Oh, sorry. Actually, the reason I called was the opposite. Huh? Pretty troublesome jobs come up. Some extra plumbing that I'll have to do. I'll have to be on call for a while. The information gathering skills of the wild dogs were held in high regard, but it'd still probably take them some time. Really, she didn't get... I thought she caught on. She didn't catch on from all that? Really? I really thought that was the implication at the end of the last stream. That she realized that he was an assassin, and she broke up with him because she said she hated assassins. Their opponent was a man who knew dozens of reasons people wanted him dead. It probably wouldn't be easy to pick up his trail. Grabbing him would probably be messy and down to the wire, without any time for careful preparation. It made Alan feel lonely, but he'd probably have to forgo dinner with Yuki until his job was finished. What happened? Yep, Mystery Theater. He's got to put on a show for Yuki-chan. Jeez. What happened? What sort of job would put a bar back on call for several days?
There was this huge cockroach in the store.
Okay, so I misinterpreted. She just thought he was trying to be macho in front of other guys. And, okay, that's what. Okay. She thought that he was just lying to be macho with the whole assassin thing with the guys. Okay. She actually couldn't believe it. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Apparition in Zarmagus. I got confused. I thought she realized the truth.
There was this huge cockroach in the store. Right now, the young employees are trying to find out where it's hiding. As soon as they find it, me and my partner will come in and bang! Squish, yeah. Not bang. Well, I mean, if we use like a spatula or some shit. But
that's not funny at all. I hate it when people dodge questions like that. Normally she'd call it an interesting joke and laugh, but today, Yuki was disapproving and called him on it. After making excuses for a while, he finally realized that she was saying she'd be lonely if she couldn't see him for a while. Until now, their relationship had involved a hyper Alan approaching her one-sidedly. So when Alan had suddenly come out and said they wouldn't be able to meet, Yuki received a minor shock.
Sorry, Yuki-chan. It really is about work. It's not like I didn't want to see you because I was annoyed or anything like that.
Of course! There's no way I could be at fault in our relationship. I am the greatest girlfriend that ever lived! I'm an attractive woman, so I'm confident I'll hear from you again later. Oh wow, they are setting her up to be an antagonist. And she has that kind of face, too. Yuki gave a short, joking laugh. She realized that something troublesome had come up, and she decided not to push him on it. I'm not sure what this troublesome job of yours is, but please, be careful. You know what I always say. I hate mafias and violent people. After all, even a pro wrestler can die thanks to a single hoodlum's knife. Forget knives. If I screw up, even a gunfight might turn me into Swiss cheese. At worst, this phone call might be our last goodbye, but there's no way I can say that. Sorry, Yuki-chan. After all this time, I can't say I'm one of those violent people you hate, and a mafia member on top of that.
Don't worry about it. It's nothing that dangerous.
You seem the type that drunks would hang out with. So I'm worried that you might have ties to some suspicious people. Promise me that you won't get involved in the mafia, no matter what.
I promise.
Okay. Then I'll forgive you. I'll be praying for your job to end as quickly as possible.
I don't know how long it'll take, but I'll call you as soon as it's finished. Then I'll treat you to something fancy to make up for this.
Acting comical until the very end, Alan set down the receiver. This was the first time he'd told such a big lie to her. You know, this is gonna keep happening, Alan, as long as you don't tell her the truth. Every now and then, he thought leaving Primavera wouldn't be so bad. But he approved of Primavera's ideals. And he proved his ability being used to further that end. I mean, that is his skill, you know. He knew he couldn't stop working for his countrymen because he didn't want a girl to hate him. If he continued as a problem eraser, he might end up making her sad someday. When we finished our conversation, she seemed overly worried about my safety. She might have picked up a sense of danger from my voice. She knew that all my joking around was a lie. And yet she's still worried about me. Well, Yusuke and Keiko is kind of similar, but Keiko was a lot nicer than Yuki, I think. Keiko was sweet. Was the sweet girl who fell for the bad boy with a heart of gold, Yusuke. Yu Yu Hakusho was so good. One episode notwithstanding, but like seriously, wow, reminded me of awesomeness of Yu Yu Hakusho. Thanks, Apparition.
Sir Yuki-chan, it's for my countrymen. This time I want to fight until I'm satisfied.
But you'll never be satisfied! No, it's alright, jeez. Even I still don't have an answer for why we were forced to fight in that war. That's why I can make the most of myself until I'm satisfied. When that happens, I'll wash my hands of it. Though I don't think that'll be enough for Yuki-chan to forgive me.
It's enough to make you cry. Why'd I fall in love with such a nice girl?
Oh, sorry, I knocked the microphone a bit. Just like Alan, Yuki set the receiver down and hung her head. Alan. As if I had the right to tell him not to get involved with the mafia. Yep, I knew it. Yep, she's totally involved with a mafia. Oh, Lee Meiju's back. Of course he is. Oh my god, yep.
Your Chinese assistant.
Don't just answer the phone in my room! You're terrible. I hate you. Get out!
How harsh. After I answered the phone for you out of kindness.
Stop trying to act like my guardian! That's what I hate about you! I'll cut our ties as siblings again! What?
Don't be so cold, little sister of mine.
So she... Oh my god! What? Wow.
You'll make me feel lonely.
You already have a little sister who's even cuter than me, don't you? An obedient, oh so cute little sister.
Go downstairs. Meishrue is always in a bad mood.
You get on downstairs too! I'm in a very bad mood!
I know I'll be waiting down there. Please come down before your soup gets cold.
No, thank you! English. I decided to have fish and chips for lunch! The greatest meal that ever lived! Yep, shui means, yeah. That's one thing I knew with theirs. Shui is used a lot in wuxia. There's a lot of, yep. I remember that one. Thank you, Guppy Forest.
I thought you'd say that. Of course, I always have English tea and English muffins for you.
I remember that, Jess. He did mention his younger sister. I thought he was referring to Xiaolan. But yeah. That's just why I hate you! Come on, get out! More importantly... Oh, that's Meiju.
More importantly, who was the young man on the phone? He seemed to be Japanese, didn't he?
Get out of here, English! After roughly pushing Meiju out into the hall, she slammed her door shut with a bang.
Meiju-sama, why does she hate you?
Because to protect her from the things she hates most, I degenerated into becoming the thing she hates most.
Wow, that's an awesome twist. Let's keep going. That second coffee was definitely the right thing to do. It reinvigorated me. I'll keep going for a bit more, maybe 1 or 2 more scenes.
Hello? Hey, James Tomatake. Long time no see. How have you been? I hear you're doing well, Davis. What do you say since it's been so long? Dinner? My treat? Oh no, I think I'll pass. I have such sensitive skin, you know. Spend so much time under the sun and it swells up all red. Lately, my skin's been getting even worse. The doctor's even forbidden me to drink or exercise.
It was a total lie. The desk right next to him was covered with empty alcohol bottles.
Though, I hear you've been pretty active for all that. Huh? Where'd you get in that? Hey! Not at all, my body's so frail.
When it came to speaking in an annoying way, Davis had no equal. Yeah, she is definitely multilingual, Jess, that's for sure. In the dim, hideout-like underground room, Davis stuck the cigarette he'd been smoking into a pile of cigarette butts, laughing obnoxiously. He played the unpleasant fool, but his senses were frighteningly sharp. He was already aware that people were after his life, so he was lying low.
Well, I did hear you'd started up in a music business lately. Amusing? Oh, that's a misunderstanding. You've got the wrong idea, don't you? I hear Madam Rose is working really hard to get that association started. I've been helping out in my own way. Oh, is that so? After all, that Primavera whatever distribution association won't start unless everyone pitches in. So I thought it'd be important to start influencing opinions. Influencing opinions? I see.
I think what's gonna happen is that the end of part 3 will end with this mission against Davis, which is pretty cool. Like to end it on like a story beat like that, and maybe in the post-credits scene it'll introduce like the main villain proper of the final story arc, just like they did for part 2, and Wang Yu and Hong.
It seems everyone has their own thoughts. But it'd get messy if resentment started to creep in after the association was established, right? I thought that if I uncovered the unsatisfied elements and opinions beforehand, that'd help Madame Rose as well. Oh, what a gutless thing to say when you're setting up an opposing faction.
Even James, who was a relatively genial person, had to crush a cigarette to hold back his irritation.
So then, are you influencing opinions as a volunteer, or as a businessman? As a volunteer, of course. I wouldn't do something this troublesome if you asked me. You see, I'm satisfied by quietly handling behind the scenes work, even if no one tells me to do or thanks me later. I guess you could say I'm not used to receiving praise. Well, being unable to handle sunlight's also to blame. Didn't it used to be that your organs were weak? You even bragged about getting a tan on your yacht with that American woman. Huh? Nah, you're just remembering it wrong. I was born with weak skin. It really is a pain. So, before I remember it wrong again, let's talk business. Business? Oh, but I'm really busy right now. Whoa, whoa. The line is breaking up. I can't hear you, James. You bastard. My schedule is packed until the year after next. I can at least hear what you have to say. I want to buy a volunteer work. Primavera will directly influence opinions in the opposing faction. So I want you to cease your involvement in this matter. But I can do it better than you guys. Well, the others feel threatened by your mafia types. They want to deal with you directly. I think you better leave this to me, a veteran negotiator with connections on both sides. Hey, Davis. You'll never make money off this without going through me eventually, right? How could someone as hated as you profit off this without going through me? That's pretty cruel, calling me hated. I've got tons of friends and acquaintances. Well, hear me out. The seeds you planted have grown nicely, and it's about time for the harvest. And also, I'd like to resolve this quickly and put Cyrus in my debt. Would you make a deal for $1,000,000 Japanese dollars? Ta-ta-ta-da! I'll negotiate with the higher-ups. They say they won't go any higher than that. I'm happy with taking 20%. I'll deposit 800,000 in the account of your choice. How does that sound? Sounds pretty nice. A win-win deal for us too. Now that's the sort of business I'm talking about. But I owe a lot to you, and you have for a long time. It wouldn't feel right to leave you with a mere 200K to share. Oh? You're worried about my share? You see, I put the people who help me before my own well-being. I'm sorry, but that's my policy. And again, it thanks to this concern from my friends that people rely on me so much.
On the other end of the line, James finally chewed through a cigarette. At any rate, no one could hold a candle to this man when it comes to taking people off.
Why don't we increase your share even more? Well, the bigger it is, the happier I am. So how much? To get 200,000, why not make it 2 million? I think you deserve that much money. 2 million? Haha, now there's a magnificent sum. So you want to split that between the two of us? No. 2 million is your share. After all, you're gonna take 20%, right? Let's try getting 10 million out of Madame Rose. She wants to hurry with the distribution association, right? Are you really asking ransom money from the fucking mafia? Do you really know how dumb you are? Nope. This is according to my acquaintances. But it sounds like the GDS and others are after City 23. The mochis made by Wang Yuan Hong are still sitting there uneaten. All that's needed is for someone to pour soy sauce in City 23 and heat it up. Or at least there's a bunch of mafia big shots in the neighboring cities that say that sort of thing. Oh, but keep this hush hush.
Davis had everything pre-calculated. He was blackmailing Madame Rose after taking full account of her haste. 10 million Japanese dollars was a lot, typo there. But it wasn't an impossible sum to pay for hurrying up the distribution network. They wouldn't be able to pay it if it was viewed as succumbing to a threat, but they could pass it off as a negotiation fee or a bribe. Now that Primavera was in the position of trying to dash across a dangerous bridge, it was like a feast waiting to happen for a man like Davis.
Okay, I'll try negotiating with that number. But could we at least meet face to face? So I can kill you, I get a good look at you. I want to work out the details with you. What about tonight? Oh, tonight? What about tonight? I'm really sorry. I've got plans, you see. Don't think I'll be available for a while. Unless we had pressing matters with $2 million. Really sorry about that. Then could you at least give me a way to get in touch? The bosses are in a hurry. They want to form a rapid understanding with you. Huh. But I really am busy. It's not like I'm always near a phone. And they haven't invented cell phones yet. I'll call you tomorrow. Would you be able to give me your answer then? I'm sure Madame Rose will be able to make a quick decision. She's a wise person after all. I'm sure she'll take notice of my hard work. Okay. I'll be waiting. Later.
James set down the receiver, sank into the sofa, and let out a big sigh.
$10 million, huh? The bastard. That man's made too many enemies. He probably plans to leave Tokyo once this is over. What about your end? Have you been able to find his location? Sorry, we set out a net but no such luck. In that case, we'll have to rely on the wandering dogs, huh? Bring cold drink to Charles and the others in the other room. Sounds like they're thinking pretty hard.
I want to see them.
Boss, who are those brats? I thought Charles was just a trainee dealer. It's true that he's good with his hands, but he got no class of tact. He's not quite up to snuff for the elegance of our hall. He's a poor kid who grew up in the alleys, right? Why is someone like that working here? Huh? Don't tell me you really don't know who that kid is. He's one of the wandering fucking dogs. The most adorable, cute, badass team ever. The independent team under the wild dogs that Wanku trusts most. The backdoor employment agency incident, the soy sauce embezzlement incident, as well as others that led to that feud. The wandering dogs were all responsible for finding evidence related to all of those. But they've been pushed back to square one for certain reasons. By friggin' their leader leaving, they were once part of the consigliere's inner circle, saving as Madame Rose's personal guard. After their many accomplishments, They were given the special honor participating in the official exec pasta gathering. Even during the soy sauce war, they were involved in secret operations to fill a vital role that led Primavera to victory. In what way is Charles Cooner, the wandering dog, not suitable for rich bamboo? I'll take a lip from them.
Hell yeah, you tell him, James. Woo! Oh, I'm so glad we get another adventure with the wandering dogs. This is the first time the 3 wandering dogs have worked together, splitting up to further their growth following Zell's departure. Wayne had ordered them to join forces. Decided that the only ones who could quickly catch the trail of this troublesome target were those familiar with everything from back alleys to the sewers. And for those 3, this became a chance to see how much they had all grown since that day. Woo! There was no relaxed atmosphere, no sharing of fond memories at their reunion. Because they were saving that for Zell. Their gazes were serious, filled with determination to meet the expectations of the man they still respected as their only boss.
He's in trouble with the GDS too. So we don't need to worry about Chinatown.
They sent a net around the luxury restaurants he likes, but he's never showed up.
I see. So he realizes he's the kind of villain people want dead.
Running away and hiding are totally different things. His job's not over yet. He'll be inside City 23 alright. That's the one thing we know for sure. The table was covered with a mass of maps and bits of information. They analyzed that information from multiple angles, using the senses they'd honed since that day. During this 1 year, they had grown spectacularly. Woo! When Zell returned one day, which I hope we see, they want to be able to rebuild the Wandering Dogs team. Yes!
We've got a fellow rats throughout the city searching, but not a single clue.
That can't be right. It's impossible to hide in the back streets without any of the rats catching wind of it.
Yes, so we might not be in the back streets. In other words, he isn't in an alley, a cheap hotel, or a sewer. We can rely on them. If they can't find him, that proves he isn't anywhere the rats go.
Oh? Sounds like the lone wolf Olaf has gotten pretty used to trusting people.
Shut up.
During this past year, Oliver had learned how to handle people from Wayne. Not how to give people overwhelming orders. Instead, it was how to ask people to do things. For example, no kind of training can suddenly double your strength. If you ask for help, you can double your fighting force easily. In fact, you can multiply your strength by 10 or 20 by gathering people. Oh my god. Oh my god, I gotta read James's comment. And, freaking Oliver says,
What do you think of this plan, cardboard cut out of Zell?
Oliver going behind Zal and doing a bad falsetto.
I think this is perfect. You are so smart.
Oliver, that accent is nowhere near Zell's.
Look, I'm trying my best, okay?
Oliver realizes this was the next skill he needed to gain after fighting and handling guns. So Oliver began to imitate Wayne and share his wages with alley orphans. That accumulated experience of negotiation with people was slowly erasing Oliver's once fierce lone wolf soul.
Rich people are really good at sniffing out people of their class.
In other words,
If he's managed to trick leaders of an affluent merchants alliance, he's gotta be dressed pretty nice.
So he's gotta be neat with a sense of cleanliness.
In other words, he won't be hiding in some moldy hole. He'll need a shower, closet, dresser. That'll be someplace where he wouldn't stand out when he walks by dressed all fancy.
I see. So we gotta search uptown, not downtown.
The captain's been investigating for us, so well, it looks like this guy's not being backed by the American military.
the person hiding him isn't in the American military or Chinatown. Well, that narrows it down. But still has enough money.
Yeah, I've been looking around too. That sort of loner villain who prays the limelight will die if he doesn't have a woman who'll accept him.
A woman, huh?
Probably a luxury goyle who works alone and lives in a hotel. That narrows down the possibilities a lot. Oliver wasn't the only one who'd grown. Both Charles and Nina had grown in their own ways. Charles had worked in James's casino, observing all kinds of rich people, from high society types to new money. He had also started studying how to act so that they would accept him. He's still a rough blade, so his co-workers laughed at how funny he looked. They've all multi-classed. However, studying or chosen their subclass or something like that. However, studying the world furthest from their alley origins would surely become a powerful weapon. Nina returned to being a lady of the evening, using her cheery nature to expand her personal connections. Bullying by her seniors at work had annoyed and discouraged her, but her character was naturally suited to being a lady of the evening. She was now using her distinctive style of speech as a weapon to show off her personality as she spread her network across the world of the evening. Zal will come back someday. Oh, I hope so. They were totally focused on being able to surprise her when that day came, so they continued to hone their skills enthusiastically. Okay. I think this is a good place to hold off. Well, I had a lot of fun today, you guys. This arc sure seems to be, or this mini arc, I should say, sure seems to be picking up. Now, my guess is that part 3 will end at the end of this mission about Davis. And then, you know, we'll find out some more things about, you know, where Davis was back from, and that'll lead us to the true villain of this arc, which we might see in the post-credits scene. But, oh my god, I am so glad that the Wandering Dogs are having this coda. This, like, it's so great to see how they've come even in 1 year. Fucking amazing. Oh my god, I thought we wouldn't see them again until, like, the final epilogue of the story. I really hope this means nothing bad. Nothing bad's gonna. I hope this doesn't mean something bad is gonna happen to them, because that would be absolutely heartbreaking. Oh my god. So happy. This is such an unexpected surprise. Well, Thursday's more tales, and I will see you on Friday. On Friday again for the next part of Rose Guns Days, where we may or may not finish part 3. Again, I have no clue why Ryukishi separated the parts into 4 parts when there are clearly 3 story arcs, but that's just what he did. So until then, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.